EPA meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for July 14th, 2025. It is Monday. We're back to work, and Kinsley's Family Market sponsors the Monday video forecast. Your summer starts at Kinsley's. Shop right, grill, chill, and repeat. Get your backyard barbecue on with everything you'll need in a one-stop shop. Juicy burgers and sizzling steaks, fresh farm fresh corn and local produce, ice cold beer and great local wines, party platters, desserts, and all of the fixings. Kinsley ShopRite is located in Broadheadsville in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, and proudly serving their community all summer long. And they are longtime sponsors of the Monday video forecast. So today we have a cold front that's going to be situated off to our west. There's going to be a little bit of a kind of a mid-level trough ahead of this. Jumping ahead of this a little bit, will become the focus of some scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly this afternoon, but there could be some pop-up shower in a few spots this morning ahead of that line that comes through. This is going to be a solid line coming through. This is going to be just well, I'll show you here. It's we'll get over to the high resolution rapid refresh. Nothing really going on in the morning here, according to this model. Once you get into the early afternoon hours, we start to see some development again. Some stuff may be popping further east here, but the main development area is going to be out here in central Pennsylvania. Now, I will tell you that one of the key ingredients for severe weather is shear. Okay, that's what keeps storms moving. If the shear is lower, it's a lower number. Normally you want that like 25 to 30 or higher in terms of knots, or how fast the forward speed of the storm is. If it's too slow, that means the top of the storm is going to be out racing the lower half, and then you get rain cold updrafts. You might have some storms pulse up and get stronger because there's plenty of instability available, but then they collapse under their own rain cold updrafts and fizzle out. Okay. They might regenerate downstream on an outflow boundary or ahead of the former line there, but they're not going to be able to sustain themselves. So as far as severe weather is concerned today, is it possible? Yes. Is it going to be a widespread thing? Absolutely not. Okay, we have the Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk over just about the entirety of our area, I-95 and points northwest today. I don't have too much of a problem with this because I understand how probability works. Again, this is about a 5% chance to see severe weather within 25 miles of any given point within that dark green area. That's not very high, okay? And it just speaks to the isolated nature of this occurring. It would be a water-loaded downdraft that does it. Very weak winds aloft, going all the way up to about 20,000 feet, where winds are under 15 miles per hour. So you don't have a lot to tap into aloft to really pull anything down unless you get a water-loaded downdraft, and that's what I explained in last week's video, is that big bucket of water at the water parks, fills up for 3 to 4 minutes, then it just dumps and just drops everything down real quickly. And that's what a microburst is. It's the same concept. Cloud fills up with so much rain it can't hold anymore. It just drops it. And that downward transport or momentum with the water coming down that fast brings the wind in a localized area. That's what you'd be dealing with today. And we know that because the soundings are very water loaded again. Typical behavior this time of year with thunderstorms is they have a lot of moisture to work with, and precipitable water content in the atmosphere is extremely high, and over 2 inches yet again today. So any of these storms associated with this can produce very heavy rainfall, but in localized areas. It's not going to be like a solid block of rain coming through, even though this does look pretty solid. But there's going to be parts along this line which are producing heavy rain at any given point, at any given point within our region. This can occur. So there's no area that's favored over any others. Sometimes we'll say, okay, maybe up here by Williamsport or Wilkes-Barre, they'll get a little bit more than further south. Doesn't look like that. Those are not really playing favorites today. This is going to move across into this very humid environment and give us the opportunity for these scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, not moving very fast, and that leads to the flash flooding threat as well. Not only heavy rain, but slower moving storms than usual, which will lead to and possibly some training of storms as well, which can give you some very heavy rain and some localized flash flooding with that. So that's going to be our primary threat today. The severe threat would be with an isolated downburst. That is not largely expected, though, and that's why just the marginal risk for severe today. Once we get to the evenings, we'll start to fall apart as they head in New Jersey. That's why the Storm Prediction Center stopped it to a point once you got to 995, because after that, they're really just garden variety showers with embedded thunder, and that's it. Okay, there will be lightning with some of these too, just like we saw yesterday. Now, I will say yesterday's outlook that they had Going back to this is looked a little bit different. They had a marginal risk that went up to about here, and then they highlighted this area right up in here for a slight risk for severe. There was no severe weather in that area, so they upgraded these areas throughout the day yesterday and really didn't produce anything in terms of severe weather, which is a heavy rain and lightning producer. Is that going to be exactly the same today? Maybe not, because the shear is a little bit better than yesterday, but we'll see how this plays out. I just don't think it's going to be a widespread severe day. Once this moves through, it's going to move through in the evening, and that will be it. Moves offshore, and we go to Tuesday. Here's what the NAM has for that same period, though. It's very similar. We get into where it moves off the coast here by midnight or just about midnight. Once we get to Tuesday, there's just an isolated threat for a thunderstorm moving through during the afternoon and evening. That's it. So like a 2 to 8 window here, or 2 to 9 window here on Tuesday. There's a chance for an isolated thunderstorm in a few spots, but most areas are not going to see much on Tuesday, and just partly sunny skies. So a little bit more sun on Tuesday compared to today, while mostly cloudy skies to start, and then not seeing a lot of sun today, just those scattered showers and thunderstorms that I spoke about in that time frame. And again, this is going to start early in the afternoon where they start popping up, then really get organized out here early to mid-afternoon in central PA, and just continue across the state after that point. Gets to I-95 just before midnight, maybe around 10 o'clock or something like that, and then by midnight or so, it kind of winds down here across eastern areas. Might linger a little bit there across eastern New Jersey, but again, that's going to be sub-severe. Tuesday's not much. Now, we get to Wednesday, there is a boundary. This same boundary is going to go off to our south and kind of stall out here, okay? It's going to be sitting right here. This is Tuesday afternoon. It's kind of sitting down here, all right? So it's going to start moving back northward like this in this direction as a warm front on Wednesday, and that's going to lead to the opportunity for some scattered showers to come back into the play. Here's Wednesday. It doesn't show a whole lot here. NAM shows that moving through from the southwest. See that? Here's that front moving through with some scattered showers on Wednesday afternoon and evening. So a little bit better chance on Wednesday compared to Tuesday, which is more isolated, to see some more scattered showers and perhaps thunderstorms with this as it moves through. And then Thursday, that should be off toward north. So just lower chance, isolated chance for a thunderstorm still in the forecast for Thursday, because it's still, again, very humid. But we have a low pressure sitting up here. The warm front is now up here. Cold front is back here. And we're warm sectored in the middle, but there's really no activity going on in there. Okay, there's no cold pool aloft. There's no severe storms to deal with either. Normally in that setup, you're like, oh, wow, we're in a warm sector. We might get some severe weather. It doesn't look like it, just not the right time of year for that. If we were talking about maybe April or May and this kind of thing occurred, then sure, or early fall. We have some kind of cold pool to tap into. It's really not cold aloft. That kind of defeats the purpose of really organized updrafts and thunderstorms, because you don't have that warm air at the surface rapidly rising toward cold air aloft. It's not colder air aloft that is rising too rapidly, and it's not there. That kind of defeats the point. So that kind of keeps things on a even keel level. You get some heavy rain producers like we're going to have, but they're not going to be anything crazy. Now, once we get into Friday, we have this cold front finally moving through. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are expected here on Friday. Partly sunny start to the day. It is going to be hot as we get into the further in the work week. Today is going to be kind of held in check a little bit, low to mid 80s for most places, as you see above me, 83 to 88. Some areas getting up into the upper 80s there, but I think once we get into that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even Saturday time frame, we're still going to be in the upper 80s to your 90 each day. Very, very typical summer-like. This cold front's going to come through on Friday with the scattered showers and thunderstorms. And right now, we think that Saturday is going to be a partly cloudy day. Nice start to the weekend. Not really low humidity, maybe a little bit lower, but not low humidity. We're not going to have that for a while. Where you're going to see low humidity. And then once we get beyond this and go to Sunday, we have some more scattered showers and thunderstorms moving through in the afternoon and evening with the next cold front. So the second half of the weekend might not be, at least not the entire day Sunday, it doesn't look like, but the second half of the weekend would be a little bit more dicey than the first half. First half looks okay right now. Of course, that can certainly change, so keep checking back throughout the week for any updates on the weekend. This might end up holding off to Sunday night for all I know. We're looking at Sunday on 6 days ahead on a Monday morning. Things can certainly change with timing, and that's one of the last things we decide until short-range models come into range and we can better assess what we're dealing with, just like we have with this system coming through today. This was modeled to be a lot worse several days ago, or it's going to look like it's going to be an all-day rain event. It does not look like that today. Obviously, we have a narrowed down time frame of early afternoon through the evening hours, and then late evening further south and east. I'm EPA meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for July 14th, 2025. Have a great Monday.